Hello and welcome to the Justice Factor. The Institute for Security Studies said in June that political violence ahead of the local government elections is set to reach its highest levels since the end of apartheid. Can we have a free and fair election under these circumstances? Our guest today is Vuma Mashinini, chairperson of the Electoral Commission of South Africa. After that discussion, we'll give you our winner and loser of the week. But first, the South African Communist Party in Mpumalanga has said that it will continue to help its alliance partner, the ANC, in the forthcoming local government elections. Is it all happiness and light between these two now? ANC SACP Deputy Secretary General Mapaila joins us now. Mr. Mapaila, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Justice.
Your response to the eNCA ruling that the SABC was wrong to ban footage of violent protests.
Yeah, we welcome that because we think it has vindicated us, and the fact that this was unconstitutional. It took away the freedom of information from South Africans, from a public broadcaster, and that was an unacceptable action. So that ruling is very important. But I listened to the COO of SABC earlier on in a press conference, almost repeating this notion that he doesn't understand what censorship is about. And I think that's a grave problem, that actually, despite this ruling, he still doesn't understand his responsibilities. In fact, he doesn't understand that eNCA could actually take away their license to broadcast.
There are several problems with what you've just said and what has happened this afternoon. Firstly, is it the COO who should be commenting, because other people were also commenting? Whose word is final about what this is, the public broadcaster? Is it the CEO? Is he a maverick acting on his own, or is it the board, or is it the chair of the board, or should it be the Portfolio Committee on Communications in Parliament?
Well, firstly, is that the board has effectively collapsed. You'll remember that some members of the board resigned and others were removed, like the late Hobzinde. That effectively made it non-correct. And I think that they tried to patch it up with some of the executive members who are part of the board, including the acting CEO as well as the COO. But it didn't really change things. So that board is effectively illegitimate. And I think that's what is more worrying, because Parliament should be able to call it to account on its governance, which has effectively collapsed. It actually became a joke, essentially.
What should happen, therefore? Should there be a Judicial Commission? Should they be recalled immediately and a temporary board be put in? What should happen in your view?
We have called long ago for suspension of this board based on its dysfunctionality. And when the executive management ran amok and became almost the board and management at the same time, they were still incapable to call them to order and to impose governance on them. So they must be removed. A new board must be constituted. We think this is a matter of urgency. In fact, it has long been overdue. The Portfolio Committee, you'll remember that in Parliament, they put adverts for other members of the board 3 times, and these were not followed up. This is not right at all, and I think that there has to be a clear intervention.
What's happened here? Has this institution been captured? Does it belong to a faction of some part of the ruling party, perhaps?
Well, the institution has effectively become dysfunctional and has run amok, and it has no one controlling it. For instance, the issue has been the provocation of the Minister of Communication, because on the one hand, she was trying to steer, she had saved the board, actually, because initially some of the suspensions were endorsed by her, because at that time there was a debate on whether they account to Parliament or they account to the new act which she was trying to introduce, which will effectively make SABC a state broadcaster, no longer the one that will be governed by the Public Broadcasting Act.
Can I be blunt? You are the Deputy Secretary General of the South African Communist Party, an alliance partner of the ANC. You sit in your meetings next to a cabinet minister, Blade Nzimande, another cabinet minister, Mr. Davis, another cabinet minister, Jeremy Cronin. So many of your leaders of the SACP are in this cabinet, which doesn't seem to have any power to bring about consequences for this. You are culpable as much as they are.
Well, we firstly take responsibility for our revolution in general, but not for messes that we have alerted our comrades to stop. For instance, the one on SABC. You remember that we actually withdrew our national treasurer as the chairperson of the Portfolio Committee on Communication in Parliament, after we've raised this matter successfully or several times without them being resolved. But it has nothing to do with those members being in cabinet. They are there on the mandate of the African National Congress. We wish one day when we reconfigure the alliance, Blade Nzimande as a minister will be a communist minister, not just an ANC minister. That means he can implement a communistic program. We have not reached that stage as yet. So it's now under the mandate of the ANC, which appears on the ballot.
Mr. Mapaila, many people would say, actually, you've reached that stage. Your comrades in the Eastern Cape suddenly wanted to contest these local elections as the SACP. Aren't they saying, yes, we've arrived, it's time for us to go our own way?
No, we are voting for the ANC. The ANC represent us on the ballot. We are actually taking up this matter with those comrades. I'm going to the Eastern Cape Alfred's on Saturday. We'll be discussing with them, but the Communist Party has officially withdrawn them from the electoral ballot.
Do you disagree with them? I know that mechanically, yes, you've withdrawn them, but do you disagree with this feeling that actually you are now whitewashing an animal that is muddy, and that is the ANC?
No. We disagree with them because the time is not yet right. The party structure, we had a special National Congress last year, June, and it gave us the mandate to continue to vote for the African National Congress. That mandate still stands.
When will it be the right time to do this? Because 10 years ago, GEAR was being implemented. Many people said it's time to go. Today, the NDP is not being implemented. Many people, like your comrades in the Eastern Cape, are saying it's time to go. It seems as if the senior leaders who are receiving nice ministerial salaries are saying, we're not going there.
No, it's not the senior leaders. It was our special National Congress. 80% of it was constituted by branch delegates. These are the ones that took that particular decision. We consider a wide range of issues when it comes to these matters, particularly how to strengthen our revolution headed by the African National Congress. And if we feel that we can weaken it, we take the broader issue, which is to strengthen the revolution. That is why now, at this point in time, we can still exhaust other issues outside. There are many issues that we have raised, for instance, that we're unhappy with about even the point that has taken this comrade to take this decision to stand, where a nomination process were not proper. They feel they were unduly handled. We are taking that matter up. We've reported it to the ANC. We'll take it up after the elections. But for now, the main task of all our comrades is to win these elections decisively in order to proceed with the program that we've been implementing, led by the African National Congress.
You were very vocal on the issue of state capture. You wanted certain things done. It seems like it's fallen off the national agenda. What's next in the state capture issue? What do you want to see? It
can never fall off the national agenda. We have had a discussion officially with the ANC officials. We raised this matter up. We are to continue that meeting for almost 1.5 days or 2 days, so we can go into detail and explain where we come from, and the ANC can actually engage us in that regard. But that's an issue that we still are unhappy about. For instance, the continued capture of some of the institutions. In fact, we want to take up even this issue by ESCOM. When Brian Mlefe, when he gave a report at the results of ESCOM and was indicating that there's no special favors for the Guptas, we don't agree with him on that, and we can take him up on this particular issue. This matter continues, and this is what makes us completely unhappy about how this matter is being handled. But ultimately, a Judicial Commission will be the solution to resolve this problem once and for all.
Is it coming very quickly? Will it come from this ANC government?
Well, of course, the ANC government will have to institute it. Otherwise, there will be other methods that are instituted. For instance, a process that has been started by the South African Council of Churches, which is a process that we have already had discussion with them. I had a meeting with Bishop Malusi Mpumbulwana of the SACP to discuss our participation in this particular process. So the ANC itself must know, if they can follow up these particular processes, there will be other methods and processes that we can follow, and it can make all that are supposed to account to account.
Solly Mapaila, always such a pleasure to have you on the show. Thanks so much.
Thank you very much, Justice.
Coming up, Vuma Mashinini, chairperson of the IEC.